Soon here. Good morning. It is a great morning, and thank you very much for coming today for a very exciting announcement that we're going to be able to make today. We wanted to make sure that we found a women's basketball coach as soon as possible, but we wanted to make sure that we had the pool of highly qualified coaches. So consequently, Cindy Gannon and Mark Alnutt interviewed 9 individuals at the Final Four for women, and had an opportunity to talk with them and discuss all of the X's and O's and all the things that you do when you're a coach. And they have come to the decision, which I think is an outstanding decision, for our next women's basketball coach. So it's my pleasure now to introduce the athletic director, Mark Alnutt. Please give him a round of applause.
Well, good morning, and for a lot of you guys out there, welcome back. You know, for the second one, which we are equally as excited about being in a position to name our next women's head basketball coach. Just to go more about the process. You know, obviously, you know, it's a process that you don't want to rush just to name a head coach. You know, you want to go through a process in terms of trying to find the best candidates possible for this job. And as I mentioned before, you know, fit is a key of what we were looking for. So, you know, the great thing about athletics or any business is you know people that are out there in the industry. You know, you begin to establish and grow networks. You know, you have contacts out there, which fortunate to be working with Cindy Gannon, our Associate Athletic Director in SWA, that, you know, when we made that announcement, we were immediately bombarded, and bombarded is probably not strong enough a word, from a lot of people about potential candidates. Well, we also trust people that are out there. You know, when this came about and a mutual contact of Rika and I reached out to me, and I've known this gentleman for about 15 years. And he told me about Rika, and you know, not knowing her, I said, well, just she needs to apply, and we'll see what the next steps are. And I forwarded that information to Cindy, you know, for Cindy to follow up. And as Dr. Dobbins mentioned, you know, we were going to be in a position to meet in Tampa with it was a total of 9 candidates. You know, it was my first time in Tampa. You know, I'm thinking I might be able to see the beach. You know, nice weather. Unfortunately, the hotel's connected to the airport. All I could do was look out the window and see the weather. But you know, the thing about going through that process was, you know, when you arrange these candidates and when you're going to meet with them, Rika was number 1, okay? And if we would have known that, what the results of that interview was going to be, you know what, we would have stopped right then and there, because 11 hours later of interviewing candidates, you know, it was a long day, and Cindy and I, we both agreed we kept going back to Rika. So, you know, for us, we're excited to have her background. You know, the Midwest ties, which I mentioned in the press conference, she's the associate head coach at Ball State, but also more importantly, you know, her time at Baylor University under the guidance and tutelage of Kim Mulkey. You know, they are a phenomenal women's basketball program, year in, year out. You know, I can mention a player which a lot of you might nod your head and say, you know, I remember Brittany Griner. You know, when you have an opportunity to be around a quality student athlete like that is successful on the court, they do very well in the classroom. And what we talked about when we met with her, you know, very involved in the community at that high level, and you have an opportunity to bring a person that's connected to this area and still doing things very successful at Ball State. You know, we felt that, you know, she was going to be the candidate, and we were so excited to bring her on to campus. It was a little bit of a recruiting trip, you know, to say the least. But at the end of the day, when I heard back from Rika at about, what was that, 11 o'clock on Monday night, and I'm outside of my house talking to you, and I'm surprised that the neighbors didn't call the police, wondering what happened, because I was jumping and shouting for joy. But without further ado, again, I want to thank Dr. Dobbins' commitment to help us with this search. You know, obviously, Jake Knudsen, Tom Meyer, you know, the board with their support, but also, last but not least, you know, Cindy, you know, she's the one that put all this together. She's the one that, you know, vetted out all these candidates and put them in place for us to have an opportunity to meet with these candidates eventually. And without Cindy, I don't think we could have got to this level where we're at right now. So let's give Cindy Gannon a hand as well. Well, we are so proud to announce our next women's head basketball coach here, and we're also excited to have Dad Tim, and Mom Eva, and also Francis, coming from North Carolina. So we want to thank you guys for coming. We want to welcome you to the Red Hawk family as well. So without further ado, Rika Patterson.
Good morning. I'd like to thank everyone for coming out to the Show Me Center again this week. I think we'd all agree it's been an exciting time for basketball. As I stand before you today, I am blessed and highly favored and truly humbled to be the next head women's basketball coach at Southeast Missouri State University. I'd like to start by thanking President Dobbins, our athletic director, Mark Alnutt, and Senior Associate Athletic Director, Cindy Gannon. It's always been a dream of mine to be a head coach of a women's basketball program, and I'd like to thank each of you for your commitment to women's basketball and for having faith in me to lead these young women. Dr. Dobbins, while our time together will be short, as I mentioned to you in our office, anytime we're playing in St. Louis, you'll always have tickets to cheer on the Red Hawks. I am more excited than I can say to work with both of you, as well as the rest of the campus and community, for years to come. I'd also like to thank the people that put a clipboard in my hand and basketball in my heart many years ago, my parents, Tim and Eva Heat. I actually think it's rather extraordinary that both of my parents are in their college halls of fame, my father for football and my mother for basketball. So you guys see where I get the pedigree from. I'd also like to recognize my Aunt Frances, who is here. She's been my biggest cheerleader, whether it was at my dance recital or right now in this moment. I learned from an early age the importance of education and have always had a passion for basketball. I had the best role model in the world, and if I'm half the coach that my mother is, then the young women in this program will have very successful careers. I'm extremely grateful for the coaches that have given me an opportunity to work for them and get prepared for this moment. The profession is truly a gift, as I am blessed to have my life been touched by so many of my former players. Their impact on me and my experiences as a former student athlete motivate me to be the best coach that I can be. I completely understand the role that we as coaches have in our student athletes' lives, which is why I'm such a strong believer in faith and family, development on and off the court, getting that degree, and having a championship work ethic. From this moment forward, our program will work to be our best every day, in the classroom, in the community, and on the court. We will learn how to win the moment, win the possession, win the game, and win the day. We will teach our players how to fight back from adversity with hard work, discipline, resiliency, and commitment. It is my goal and my mission, frankly, to prepare these young women and to instill in them the confidence that they can do whatever their heart truly desires. For the last 48 hours, I have had this silly grin on my face that I can't get rid of. I am so excited to get to know each of you, as well as the rest of Red Hawk Nation, as we work to bring back pride to this program, university, and community. Again, thank you all for being here, and to the Southeast Missouri State family, thank you for believing in me. Go Red Hawks.